The Pyramids of Montauk, Chapter 10, Turtle Cove. Located a few miles southeast of the transmitter building, Turtle Cove is just a short walk west of the Montauk Lighthouse. Although many Native Americans are not aware of it, there is a tradition in their culture that the world originated from Turtle Cove. Whether the origin of Earth was at Montauk or not is quite debatable, but there were definitely some people who espoused this belief. If one looks deeper into the traditions of different Native American tribes, there is definitely a common belief that the turtle is at the source point of the universe. And just my commentary, actually, the old name of the American continent I have on good information, good source of information, is known as Turtle Island. That was how the natives referred to it, Turtle Island. So the above idea is obviously a mythological account and usually not a very clear one in most of the renditions I've read. Many people have heard stories about the earth being supported on the backs of a series of different turtles. At first glance, a turtle holding up the globe would seem totally absurd. If we dig deeper into the mythology, we learn that this particular myth is a metaphor for a principle that has very deep meaning. In order that you understand this metaphor, it is necessary that I introduce you to the Meru Foundation. That's spelled M-E-R-U, the Meru Foundation, a research group which has been recovering lost knowledge that was previously only for mystery school initiates. Some of the most spectacular work of the Meru Foundation is the decoding of the Hebrew alphabet. This began in 1968 when a man by the name of Stan Tehen just happened to be looking at the beginning of a Hebrew version of the book of Genesis. As Stan didn't read Hebrew, the text made no sense to him. But as he is very gifted in the area of pattern recognition, he noticed there was something peculiar about the sequence of the letters. There was some sort of symmetrical relationship, but he wasn't sure what it was. Consequently, a 10-year quest began to find the answer. Finally, after reading every book he could find and trying all sorts of sophisticated mathematical teachings, Stan finally resorted to doing the simplest thing he could. He took the first verse of Genesis and wrote each letter out, one each, on a bead chain and curled the bead chain around until the identical letter beads lined up with each other. The result was a form that looked like a two-dimensional pyramid below. Here, for your consideration, my esteemed viewer, is the illustration, the two-dimensional pyramid that Stan created. Bead chain. Bead chain wrapping of letters in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, showing form created by matching letters. There you go, folks, with the Hebrew alphabet. Two-dimensional pyramid. All of this not only suggests the sacred geometrical nature of the pyramid, it reveals possible synchronicity between the Hebrew alphabet and sacred geometry. But this was just the first step in Stan Tenen's brilliant discovery. Further work would show that the alphabet correlated with other geometrical shapes. Perhaps the most remarkable discovery he made was that when he paired all the letters and then mathematically reduced that shape to the most compact and elegant form he could, he ended up with a very unusual form. It is best described as a special sort of three-dimensional vortex. What was so astonishing about this endeavor was that if you looked at the vortex from 27 different angles, you would see all 27 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Similarly, if you were to hold a light behind the solid rendition of the vortex and move it around from 27 different angles, you would see all the Hebrew letters in shadow form. Here we go. The illustration below is a two-dimensional rendition of the vortex or line that manifests when the seven-color torus is rotated in upon itself. From 27 different angles, all 27 letters of the Hebrew alphabet will appear. Here we go, folks. This torus, showing a seven-color map, is redrawn after the style of Arthur Young in the Reflective Universe. Here you go, folks. Stan arrived at this vortex shape by pairing the letters together. But that is not the only way the shape could be arrived at. For this next step, we will consider a torus or donut. For those of you who remember reading Appendix F of the Montauk Project, the entire universe can be likened to the shape of a donut. This idea is commonly accepted in the world of physics and is not any great revelation in itself. Stan realized that you can create a torus by taking a flat piece of paper and rolling it into a tube, then connecting the two ends. Actually, paper does not obligingly shrink and stretch to make a perfect donut, but the idea will serve. The reason we use paper in this example is that we are going to insert the seven colors of the spectrum into our equation. Before we make the torus mentioned above, we're going to lay out seven colors on a flat map or piece of paper in equal proportions, so that when the torus is in a final form, each color touches each one of the other six colors, but never more than once. Once you have actual colored torus as described above, a line marking the seven color boundaries will unfold from the center in a vortex-like manner as you rotate the torus through itself. If this concept is difficult, imagine the torus having a skin of seven colors. As you push the blue part of the skin towards the center, all the other colors of the skin will move accordingly. The lines of the boundaries will fold into the center of the torus, tracing out a vortex shape. Again, you can observe all 27 letters of the Hebrew alphabet by observing this vortex from different angles. In the seven-color map below, each color is of equal proportions and is represented by a number. When this square is connected by the various arrows and lines above, line shown, it becomes a torus. To produce this torus on a rough approximation, connect the opposite edges of the square as shown by the lines and arrows. When the top and bottom are connected, the square becomes a cylinder. When the left and right edges are connected, the cylinder ends are connected and the cylinder becomes a torus. Here we go, folks, for your consideration, you, the esteemed viewer. Of particular significance regarding this discovery is that the seven-colored torus laid out in two-dimensional form gives the appearance of a turtle. See figure 4 above. This is further backed up by the fact that a turtle shell reveals the same hexagonal pattern. The word turtle derives from tortoise, which means tortus, twisted. Like, don't get it twisted. A tortoise is a turtle. And that is from Webster's New World Dictionary. It gives a hypothetic derivation of the Latin tortus as being derived from Latin Greek tortatratros, evil demon, originally controlling Tartarus. Note how the pattern on the turtle's back fits the same pattern of the square seven-color map in figure 3. The turtle is a natural representation of a torus in two-dimensional form. Hello, Mr. Turtle. What all of this proves is that not only is there an inherent orderliness in the universe, but that it is reflected in languages and native mythologies. There is a connection to the divine that has been lost. It was this ordered mental and language structure that enabled the ancient Babylonians to thrive both spiritually and physically. After the desolation of the Tower of Babylon, the ancients lost their ability to speak the divine tongue and were fated not to understand each other. Society accordingly degenerated. All of this information tells us what any honest archaeologist has already learned. The ancients knew more than we do today. Booyah! Exactly what they knew and the nature thereof will be examined in the rest of this book. That the revelation comes through a location known as Turtle Cove at Montauk Point should not be forgotten. Turtle Cove. This is Turtle Cove facing west. If one enters the Camp Hero section of Montauk Point State Park, from the southeast gate, also known as the Fisherman's Entrance, and travels to the fishing area, one will find the remnants of a paved road that used to be Montauk Highway. A short walk down the road and amidst the rushes, there's a small path that leads to Turtle Cove. Here you go, folks. For your consideration, you, the esteemed viewer, Turtle Cove, the path that leads to such. Well, that was the latest installment of the Pyramids of Montauk here on the Aumbonda podcast channel. Stay tuned, folks. There's more of the Turtle Cove and the native tongue of pre-Babylonian humans and divine awareness to come. Stay tuned. Namaste, namaskaram.